This is the Brothers' home, and it's a place where the real Squid Games took place. Well, kinda. So you've probably seen Squid Games and wondered, is this show based on a true story? Well, there's a crazy rumor going around that says the show was inspired by a real-life deadly game at the Brothers' home in South Korea. Now, recently, a TikTok went viral with over 50,000 likes claiming that the real-life Squid Game happened in 1986 in an underground bunker where people were forced to play deadly games just like in the show. The TikTok said that the organizers behind the games were never found and that the whole thing was kept secret. So what is the Brothers' home? Well, I'll tell you, it is a real place, but it's not quite what the TikTok suggests. The Brothers' home was a notorious social welfare institution in South Korea, but it wasn't a game. It was a horrific facility where thousands of people, mainly orphans, mentally ill individuals, and the homeless were rounded up and forced into grueling labor. Inmates there faced severe abuse, starvation, and some people even died. In fact, the Brothers' home operated like a concentration camp with no trial or due process for those taken there. Many were just people in the wrong place at the wrong time. The facility was used to purify society by isolating vulnerable people as South Korea tried to clean its image up for the upcoming 1988 Olympics. Okay, so where does Squid Games fit in? Both the show and the Brothers' home share chilling themes. In both cases, people are trapped in a system where survival depends on obedience and violence is used to control them. In Squid Game, contestants are manipulated into betraying each other for a shot at the prize money. In the Brothers' home, inmates were forced to work for the enrichment of corrupt officials, and those who didn't follow the brutal rules were punished. But here's the difference. The Squid Game contestants had a choice. They could either accept or reject the invitation to play, even though the choice is clearly manipulated by the promise of huge rewards. On the other hand, the people in the Brothers' home had no choice at all. They were kidnapped and thrown into a system that took away all of their freedom. So why did this rumor spread so fast? Well, some TikTok videos used real photos of inmates from the Brothers' home alongside AI-generated images that look like Squid Game sets, bright and pastel-colored walls, and creepy industrial spaces. These images gave people the false impression that the Brothers' home was the inspiration behind the show. But here's the truth. Squid Game's creator has always said that the show was inspired by his own life, his struggles with the entertainment industry, and the growing inequality in South Korea. Both Squid Game and the Brothers' home deal with dark, disturbing realities, but one is a fictional narrative and the other was a real, tragic chapter in South Korea's history. But here's the crazy part about this whole thing. Some of you are trapped in a Squid Game and don't even know it. The show isn't just about playing deadly games. It's about the extremes people will go to when they're desperate. It exposes inequality, debt, and the pressure to succeed that can push people to make brutal choices. The show's contestants are flawed, desperate, and struggling with huge financial burdens. They are a reflection of real-life issues many people face today. In fact, South Korea has one of the highest rates of household debt in the world. And Squid Game takes that issue and amplifies it in a brutal, fictional way. But at the heart of the show, it's not only about violence. It's about the human cost of living in a society where survival can depend on money, power, and who you're willing to sacrifice. Now, while the Brothers' home was a real horrific institution, it wasn't the inspiration behind Squid Game. But both stories share a haunting commonality. They show how systems of power can dehumanize people and trap them in a cycle of violence and survival. So the next time you watch Squid Game, remember, it's a story that reflects the dark side of society. It's still fiction. But the real world struggles it touches on are all too real.